And then we'll move on to point number 3 here, discussing position specific skill development. And I know that this is later on something that you talk about, that people start this way too early. I think I've heard you say in the past. Now, if someone is a sophomore, is that too early to just start doing tailored drills outside of practice for a quarterback or a lineman or a wide receiver? You say it's 3 years to get to that genetic potential of training with us, right? Like, we have the best method, and that's about how long it takes, is 3 years to get to that genetic potential for speed, and then people go on to the getting more specific. Is that what I understand?
So I want to be clear. You can be strong and fast and be a shitty football player. I want to make that absolutely
Okay.
clear for all the people that are like, oh, all you care about is speed, and no. You need to still learn techniques of being a receiver. You need to still learn techniques of being a DB, being a lineman, defensive end, all those things, being a running back. You need those skill specific things. But what I am saying, what I am proclaiming, and what is 100% true is there's far too much specific things and not enough general for these players. For an example, like, they put way too much focus and emphasis on like 7-on-7. Like, if you want to just really gamble your entire career, go and fucking play do the 7-on-7 circuits for the 6 months or 9 months of off season that you have. Go do that and let me know how that turns out. Because 99% of the time, that's a waste of time. You're going to get injured. You're going to get hurt. And nobody, last time I checked, and I mean nobody, has ever gotten recruited from a spring ball 7-on-7 tournament or whatever. The exposure is irrelevant. It's just for bragging rights. It's just flag fucking football. All right. Doesn't
Okay.
mean shit. Okay. If you can, nothing matters till you put on pads. So you got to do whatever it takes to get prepared for that. What does that look like? And I'm going to go in order. Your speed development, your strength training to supplement your speed development, the recovery, and make sure that you are in the most optimal position that you can be in for your specific position. So strength,
Okay.
speed, strength, skill, position, work. That doesn't mean going to a fucking 7-on-7 tournament for weeks on end and not doing anything in the weight room and not being on the track or on the field working specifically on just general speed. See, everybody
Okay.
wants to do the route tree. So like, you look at guys like Odell, you look at a lot of these receiver technician types, and all they want to do is receiver work. All right, but then there's a cost to that, and that's injury, because now they're neglecting the weight room and they're directing general speed. Because if you can't just improve general speed and maintain that when you are in chaotic environments like a 7-on-7 or in an actual football practice or game, you don't have
Yeah.
the unconsciousness. You don't have the unconscious competence to do and change directions properly. Okay, so there's a cost, and there's not a lot of added benefits by being too specific with
Okay.
this sport or any sport.
Okay, so the cost benefit ratio is negative. It's not good enough where a student should be taking their off season to do 7-on-7s. Am I hearing you say that those are like useless, or they should be very
I'm not saying that.
moderated?
I think it's moderated. Because the
Okay.
problem with
Okay.
seven on. Let me explain. Let me explain something. Because 7-on-7 turns into like another it's another football league in a sense, and it's like no scout from Ohio State is going to a 7-on-7 tournament. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody
Okay.
cares. Okay,
It
it's
can be a
just a waste of
distraction.
energy. It's a distraction, and it's a risk of injury, because nothing matters till you put on the pads and you thump it. If you're not thumping, we're not bumping. So just stop it. You can do it from a practice. It's great. Look, I love a good 7-on-7 practice. It's great for my skill players. It's amazing. But as far as like competitiveness, because it turns into competition and everybody gets really hyped about it and it gets really serious. But then all these kids neglect their actual training. And then we got hamstring issues, ACL issues, and then everybody's getting
Ugh.
injured by August. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's not
Yeah.
good for the overall. Because, like I said, if you're not thumping, you're not bumping. So if we're not doing that, if we're not putting on the pads, I'm not like it's like essentially like a pro fighter getting into a street fight. It's not the same thing, and it's
Yeah.
not it's like it's you're a prize fighter, and just like in football, like if you don't have those pads on, I wouldn't be doing anything other than practicing the skill. Now, practicing the route tree 3 times a week, I'm all for that. Doing your running back drills, I'm all for that. Doing lineman specific drills, that is amazing. You have to do that, but you can't just go full speed in something that doesn't transfer to the actual game enough,
Okay.
and it's still there's still risk for injury. So
Keep it
that's
keep your
why.
priorities in check. Okay. And not let the
Yeah.
other things like the 7-on-7s overwhelm you. Okay.